I'm Grayson Wells, and I repair broken siding, gutters, and roofs. The kind of things most people overlook, until they see water leaking into the living room or hear wind blowing through a hole in the attic. I own Wells Exterior, a modest but dependable Charleston home repair business. Nothing ostentatious, no corporate frills, just a beat-up Ford with my emblem on the side. No banners, no flashy ads. Most people are unaware that I have a reputation that lets me sleep at night, and a circle of 6 decent men and women. This filthy job? It paid for the bricks in Camille's house and the shingles on my clients' roofs. It supported her culinary degree, one she pursued with fire in her eyes and calluses on her fingers. This job funded Camille's skin studio, her skincare company that sells cream and candles with eucalyptus scents. Call me naive, but the grit in my boots, the sweat under my fingernails, and the colored walls at work made that all possible. But I had hoped that, on my birthday, I'd receive some affection, acknowledgement, maybe a piece of cake. When I asked Camille if the family would be joining us for a modest supper, I would have settled for a store-bought cake. Nothing extravagant, just a pot roast and my mother's apple pie. But she didn't even lift a finger. She simply rolled her eyes away from her phone and said, "Your brother Jared is hosting a barbecue that day," as if I hadn't already heard. "And let's face it," she added, "you always have a little too much drama on your birthdays." While relaxing on our couch, as if it were her own, my sister-in-law Laya chuckled loud enough for me to hear, "Oh yes, do you remember last year?" The grill caught fire. It was so crazy, I had to fake a smile. Camille shrugged. "Still counts." I unwrapped the brisket and looked up. "So, you coming?" asked Mom, tinkering with her rings at the kitchen island. She winced, like she always does, when she said, "You know how Jerry gets when he organizes these events. If there's time after the barbecue, we'll stop by." Guilt creeps in. "He wants the entire family present." My wife smiled, sipping her herbal tea. "It's a guy who fixes gutters, please." She wasn't kidding. That was just Camille now. I looked at her for a while, wondering how we got here. How she went from greeting me at the door with kisses and recipes to barely noticing I came home. I nodded slowly, letting it settle before I said it, softly but firmly. She blinked like she hadn't heard me right, but I didn't repeat myself. I just walked. "Don't say I didn't warn you." Leaning against the truck that hauled ladders and tools, the evening air was heavy with Charleston humidity. I had been spreading my ambition across the Lowcountry for years, but I wasn't hurt in the way they thought I should be. Silence doesn't mean it doesn't matter. There's a difference between needing recognition and deserving it. And that night, as I gazed over my neighborhood, the one whose windows I had fixed, whose homes I had sealed and fences I had repaired, I knew they all still thought I was just the gutter guy, a man with a toolkit and calloused hands. But they didn't know the plans I had, the calls I'd made, the foundation I was about to lay on my birthday, not just beneath a roof, but beneath a movement, an idea, a legacy. Let them laugh. Let them eat. Not cake, sympathy, or last minute. Brisket. Let them pose for group photos at Jared's, because once the lights turned on and the drapes were drawn, they'd finally see me. Not the man with dirty boots, the builder behind something bigger than any of them had ever imagined. As a kid, I used to stare out my bedroom window and wonder if anyone would remember my birthday. Imagine the audience, not stadiums or arenas, just people who truly noticed me, professors who overlooked me, family who downplayed the wins. I think I started building this because I got used to silently clapping for myself. You can't ignore a finished roof. You can't argue with a leak that's been sealed, and that old pain, it lingers. Always. My mother would rave about how well Laya ran the PTA bake sale. Jared got praised for switching marketing jobs again like it was a fortune. 500 project, and me? I was just the helpful guy around the house. Even Camille, laughing with her friend in our kitchen, said I was great at DIY stuff, like I was some YouTuber, a handyman who tinkered, rather than a business owner running a six-figure company, with 3 trucks and a client book stretching from Goose Creek to Mount Pleasant. But this year, I was working on something. A few months back, I got a call from Royce Edmund Roy, a sockless loafer-wearing, old-money Charleston monarch type. He saw my work on social media after I rebuilt a back patio his hurricane had wrecked. No fanfare. Just work. Good work, he said, swirling a glass of something golden. I like your ethic. You don't talk much. You build. Ever thought about teaching? He leaned forward. This city's full of kids with nothing to do, and no one to teach them. You have something they can use. We can fund it. He suggested a nonprofit. I should have said no. Camille was already irritated each time I came home late smelling, like shingles and sealant. But instead, I said yes. No Facebook post, no announcement, just a family group text. The nonprofit would be called the Trade Future Foundation. We'd accept new teens, teach them actual trade skills, roofing, siding, carpentry, electrical basics, and more. Structure, guidance, purpose. But I didn't tell Camille. Not at first. She was too busy yelling about someone copying her branding or scrolling absently, checked out. I figured she'd learn eventually. The official launch was set for my birthday, the same day as Jared's infamous cookout, meat on the grill, beer pong. One brother throws a carnival, the other unveils a legacy. Guess which one they showed up for? They all thought I was just sitting in my workshop, pouting about missed birthday calls. Every condescending laugh, every eye roll, they only fueled me more. But it wasn't about revenge. Not really. This time, I wanted to build something that made them look twice. Something real. Lasting. Not for Camille. Not for Jared. Not even for my mother, who always arrived late and still managed to criticize the dessert. I didn't want to be ignored this time. The problem with being underestimated your whole life is you learn to keep quiet until you're ready to speak. And when you finally do, muscle memory kicks in. The nails are already driven. The frame is already standing. And they only notice when it's too late to help. Camille didn't just ignore my dinner plans. She went out of her way to derail them. I'm going to Jared's, she said casually, washing her face like it was no big deal. Everyone's gonna be there. She didn't even like the grilled meatloaf or paper plates, and yet here she was, blowing off my birthday again. I looked up from cleaning my boots. I thought we agreed to keep it low-key this year, I said. She sneered. It's not always about you, Grayson, but that one stayed with me. It was somehow a burden.